All right. Welcome to
Hey.
Wellness Wednesday. I'm Angel Hawk. I'm the fitness angel, and I'm so excited. I'm here in Franklin, Tennessee at 1 p.m. Central Time, but we have Pete Atkin, who is actually in the UK at 7 p.m. So I just love our company. We're worldwide. I love that we have this wonderful tool to see each other, no matter what time of day it is, right? But today I'm really excited because Pete is going to be sharing his story, his health journey with his heart and with his fibromyalgia experience with his girlfriend and all of his hundreds, maybe thousands of friends that he's met through that community. But I'll tell you a little bit about my story before I introduce Pete and welcome him to speak. I am a fitness instructor. I'm a former school teacher. I'm a wife and a mama to two grown-up kids. I have a son-in-law and a grand dog. No grandchildren yet, but I know I'm getting closer because I have a grand dog, right? And I thought I was very healthy, but I was only fit because when I was teaching classes, very strong in 2006, I started noticing a hearing loss. And it took some time, but I finally got an MRI, and we discovered I had a tumor growing on my brain and into my brainstem. It actually had tails growing into the nerves, keeping me alive. So it was a very scary time in my life. I had a 14-hour surgery. I had to relearn to walk, talk, swallow, everything. But I finally recovered from that, lost my facial nerve, so I can't close my eye or smile all the way. I still don't have my hearing, but I have so much more, and I'm so grateful. Got that back, and a year later, my tumor grew back, and I had radiation. And that is what made me really sick. I thought I would die. I lost my hair. I had spots on my face. They said you could have dental problems, lose your teeth, all kinds of horrible things. Thank God I didn't. These are my teeth. But hair grew back. But I knew I was missing something. I finally recovered and felt better. But that's when I started looking into healthier eating, because I was still drinking Diet Cokes, Diet Dr. Pepper, anything diet. I wanted it because I thought being healthy meant you were skinny. And I learned that's not the case, that we need to fuel our bodies for performance, to fight cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, all kinds of issues. If we eat more plant foods, that's going to help our gut get healthy, our immune system, everything works better. So I started trying to eat more plants, and that's hard. If you've had a chronic illness, if you have fibromyalgia or something like that, you need 20 servings in a variety every single day. That's what I learned to have optimal health, and it's just hard. So we found a simple way. Instead of juicing, it's called Juice Plus because it's better than juicing. We take out the water and the sugar, and it's just the nutrients. And we are getting those nutrients in a simple way every single day. And so that's how we've gotten to know each other through this community. So I want to introduce Pete. Pete, share your health journey with your heart and what led you to Juice Plus, and why you want to recommend it to your friends.
Thanks, Angel. I spoke.
Wait, whoops. Hang on. I meant to mute myself, Pete. That was not the angel. That was the devil.
Oh, are you there? Hi, Angel. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Oh, brilliant. Well, first let me introduce myself. My name's Pete Atkin. I've got 3 lovely daughters and a fantastic partner called Lynn, who unfortunately suffers with fibromyalgia. My journey, my story began last year, January of 2020. I was surprisingly diagnosed with a heart condition. Originally it was angina, and then after numerous tests I was told I needed heart surgery, which was a triple heart bypass. Now I decided then that I wanted to give my body the best chance of recovery from the surgery, because that surgery is very invasive. Now, my diet at the time, which probably led to the heart condition, as well as hereditary, was my eating habits. I was an absolute lover of steak, red meat, anything bad. So, having done the research, I decided that the best thing I could do was go more plant-based. So, the following months before, after my diagnosis and before surgery, I completely changed my diet. I gave up red meat completely and fatty meats. I ate more chicken and fish. And what I did do was go into more plant-based food. So I've done a lot of research on this. 2 daughters who are vegetarian out of the 3. And that was the way forward. What I also did was start juicing, because I thought that was the best way to get all the nutrients into my body that my body would need to deal with the surgery. Now, this was a good thing, but to get the right balance of nutrients was putting things into the juicer that I didn't really like. Oh, sorry, I'm just getting a message from one of my, from a lady who wants to join. It's saying it's an invalid meeting ID. Just let me answer, sorry, just to interrupt, just let me answer this lady. Sorry about this. Okay, doke. Hopefully that'll get her on board. This lady's very keen to join us. She's a fitness coach and a nutritionist, so she's very keen to join the meeting.
Peter, I noticed the number you gave me had a 2 at the end instead of a 1, and I couldn't get in either. So just in case you've given her that number again.
Sorry, Danny, what was that?
I noticed that the number that you gave me had a 2 at the end instead of a 1.
A 1, yeah, got it. Yeah, I've given her the right number. Yeah, hopefully she'll be able to join.
I realised that error.
Cheers, Danny. Anyway, sorry, sorry about that. But, I started juicing, but I didn't like the gloopy mixtures. I didn't like the consistency or the taste, because some of the vegetables I was having to put in, or some of the ingredients I was having to put into the juicing, was things I didn't really like. You know, butternut squash, sweet potato, as an example. So it wasn't really for me. At that time, I thought it was the only option. I bought the machine, bought the recipe book, so I persevered. And yeah, it did have benefits. Now, when I first diagnosed, my cholesterol levels were very high. Blood sugar levels were high, as was my blood pressure. A week before surgery, these levels had all dropped significantly. My cholesterol level, which had been over 6 points, was dropped to less than 2.5, which the consultant confirmed was undoubtedly due to the changes I'd made. And after my surgery, my recovery period in hospital was very short and exceeded expectations. I had physiotherapy, and she told me that I should be able to walk up and down a flight of stairs after 5 to 7 days. I actually did it in 3. After a few days, my stats were great, and I was allowed home on day 5, which was about 2 to 3 days before I should have been allowed home. And to this day, I know that that was due to the changes I made. But at that time, I didn't know exactly why the benefits were there. So I got to thinking, if it helped me so much, could it help Lynn, the one with fibromyalgia? And she agreed it was worth a try. And after a while, she did start to feel a lot better for it. You know, it's not an overnight thing. It takes time. Less fibro flares, less pain, and more energy for enjoying the things that she did really enjoy, which especially riding her beloved horse. Now, Lynn felt the same way about me about juicing. She couldn't stand the taste or the mix or the gloopiness of the mixtures, so it didn't really last long for Lynn. Now, we decided, although juicing is really good for you, it's not for everyone. We also found that there was a lot of waste. Fresh produce has a short life. It was either buy in bulk or make regular visits to the shops, which is time consuming, especially for us because the nearest shop is a 14-mile trip, which again is extra fuel money. So we both wish there was a more convenient way to get the right balance of nutrients into our systems, but simply, without, like say, the sugars, the refined products, all the bums that goes in. We just wanted a pure, natural product that would give us the nutrients we wanted to get the benefits we wanted without all the fuss. To be honest, looking out there, it is a minefield. There's so many different products on the market that promise miracle results. You know, we will do this. And after a lot of research, we just couldn't find anything. And the introduction to Juice Plus was purely by chance. It sort of fell in our laps. I put a post on our Facebook Fibro Partners group, and one of our members, Angel, who's introduced this meeting, commented about the Juice Plus. And cut a long story short, we connected and she started giving me more information. And the more I heard, the more I liked. Now, Juice Plus is the most researched company in this field and the only product we have found that actually does what it says on the tin. It's pure nutrition and we've benefited a lot from it. So I stopped juicing and started taking the Juice Plus capsules, which are these, just to show we do take them. These are, we got the 4 blend to these and we've had great results with them. Less waste. And when I worked out the costings of it, we found it was actually saving us money due to less waste. Just an all-round win-win, really. We're getting the goodness from the right balance of nutrients, which is a bonus because instead of buying vegetables that we didn't like, or plant-based things that we didn't like the taste of, and putting them in a juice that we couldn't stand the taste of, we can get the nutrients we need from this, and we can buy the vegetables that we like the taste of. You know, we don't stop eating vegetables. We have well-balanced meals and the Juice Plus. Now, Angel also introduced me to a very informative and knowledgeable man called Dr. Odom, who's going to give us a little talk shortly. And as I said earlier, I knew that getting the right nutrients into your body worked, but I didn't know why. Now, thanks to Dr. Odom, I know exactly why, and it's all about gut bacteria. The key to a healthy body, a healthy brain, and overall fitness begins in the gut. And I learned from Dr. Odom how maintaining a healthy gut full of beneficial bacteria can reduce the pain associated with conditions such as fibromyalgia, and also help with depression. And that is something we've been writing about on our blog page on our website, which is fibropartners.com. And, you know, Angel and Doug have very kindly said, you know, tell people about your website, because a lot of interesting information about there, information I get from Angel and Dr. Odom will go on the website. And Dr. Odom has very kindly agreed to come on here and give us a more knowledgeable explanation of why gut bacteria is so important. And for me, it works. It's a win-win. And that basically is my story. Hopefully it's going to help people. So with that, I'd like to hand back to Angel.
Thank you. I love hearing your story. I love your accent. If y'all are from the UK, you probably are thinking, where is she from? The South, Tennessee.
It's a great accent.
It's just fun to hear people from all over the world. We love people, and it's just fun to learn. And Dr. Odom is here on our call for us, and I'm so excited. He is an OBGYN for 45 years, delivered over 17,000 babies. And then he was a medical director of an anti-aging clinic for 10 years. He also has a passion for learning gut health, brain health, longevity, and has just been traveling the world and speaking. And we're excited that one of these days we are coming to visit Pete. We are determined, after all of this crazy COVID mess is gone, we are getting on a plane and coming out there. So Dr. Odom, please just elaborate a little bit why the gut is so important. Oh, are you muted?
Thank you. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Pete. That was great. It was a great segue into everything that I wanted to say. I know I just have a few minutes, but I want to hit some highlights here. I've been interested in teaching and coaching, and actually went to school to do that. So now I get to really teach and coach. And like you, Juice Plus fell into my lap. I was looking for something, but I didn't know that it existed. But if you just think about it, we have a country that is very, very unhealthy. And why is that the case? It's as much as anything. You mentioned gut health. We host trillions. That's with 12 zeros. We host trillions of bacteria, and we get to decide every day whether we're going to bacteria that are beneficial or non-beneficial. And we're born with an enteric microbiome. That means all of the genetic material from all of the bacteria. And you inherit that from your mom, who inherited it from her mom. And so we just pass it down generation after generation. But what we've done in America, and I'm sure probably in Western Europe and the UK, is we've gotten away from the diet, the foods that our ancestors ate. And because of it, that is the primary reason why we're so unhealthy. We have been feeding the wrong bacteria. So we have trillions and trillions of bacteria, and you add them all together and they weigh somewhere between 4 and 6 pounds. Little tiny bacteria, but that's a lot of them. And that's an organ unto itself. But if we have balance in the beneficial and the non-beneficial bacteria, well, then we have good health. But when we're feeding more of these non-beneficial, we can call them good and bad. That's not a good thing to do, but just to simplify it. If we're feeding the bad bacteria, and that's what we do in America. I live in Mississippi, and our diets are full of sugar, artificial sugar, processed foods, and too much animal anything, whether it's red meat or whether it's milk, dairy, cheese, whatever. There's nothing wrong with animal. We just eat far too much of it. Just like there's nothing wrong with sugar, except we eat far too much of it. In America, 100 years ago, the average American consumed 5 pounds of sugar a year. And today, the average is 5 pounds every 10 days. So you can see that we're feeding, by eating that way and eating processed food that are laid with sugar and artificial sugars, we're just feeding the wrong bacteria, the bad guys. They're called Firmicutes. And by just the choices, the daily choices. So that's what feeds the non-beneficial. And that's when we're doing that, we're just contributing to inflammation. inflammation is the common denominator for all disease. And when we're feeding these non-beneficial bacteria, primarily they're gram-negative, and they put off an endotoxin that is contributing directly to inflammation, and then it gets in the bloodstream and it goes all over the body. It goes to the brain. It goes to the to all the different organ systems and the vascular system, and it contributes to this change that occurs in the vessels that then lead to the buildup in the vessels. And it's unfortunate, but that's just what we do. So cardiovascular disease in the United States is the #1 killer. We're also affecting the immune system. 85% of that's in the wall of the intestinal tract. So we have autoimmune diseases because we're causing inflammation. It's called leaky gut. So these endotoxins and this inflammatory tissue is leaking out into the circulation. But we can correct that simply by changing the bacterial balance so that we're feeding the good bacteria, the beneficial bacteria. And what is it that feeds the good bacteria? It's fiber and phytonutrients. You know, our human bodies are not capable of breaking down cellulose. We can't do it, but the bacteria do it for us. So by eating more plant food and by eating more fiber, we're feeding the beneficial bacteria so that we don't have this leaky gut. And it's been said, leaky gut, leaky brain, leaky gut, leaky kids. Children in this country are developing ADD and ADHD, autistic spectrum disorder issues. And by changing the diet and getting these kids eating plant-based foods primarily, we can change their outcomes. We can do the same thing with depression and anxiety. We can do the same thing with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a condition that we've for years had no idea what was the cause. And now we know that it's directly related to the foods that we choose to eat. And if we can feed the beneficial bacteria, which is what you did with Lynn, so her symptoms became less and less and less, and not just fibromyalgia, but any autoimmune disease. When I was in school 50 years or so ago, maybe a little more than that, there were fewer than 10 of these autoimmune diseases that were named autoimmune diseases, and today we have about 150. So it's just whatever part of the body that's affected. There's a condition that's associated with the pancreas, or the stomach, or the brain, or the kidneys, or whatever. And what it really means is we have too much inflammation everywhere. And so that's really the hallmark of fibromyalgia. And what is the treatment for that? They say exercise, they say adequate sleep, and then they say healthy diet. And when they say healthy diet, what they're really saying is a plant-based diet that is full of fiber and phytonutrients. So what is Juice Plus? It's essentially whole food, plant food, fiber and phytonutrients without calories. So when we talk about nutrition, what are nutrients? They are compounds, chemical ingredients or components in the food that we eat that benefit the body. That's what we should be focusing on, and not so much calories. But unfortunately, too many of us in the United States focus on calories and trying to be skinny. I was skinny when I was growing up, not intentionally. I didn't want to be skinny, but that's all that we ate. In fact, when I grew up in the 40s, I was a World War II baby. And when my mother would go to the grocery store, she would buy coffee, and that was it. My dad killed whatever or caught it, or we grew it. And that's when we had ideal, optimal health. And we've just gotten away from that in my lifetime. In the last 70 years, that's how we eat in this country. because we can. It's convenient to run to the grocery store, and it tastes good. So we eat for taste and pleasure and not health and wellness. But if we can just think this thought, and that is feeding the beneficial bacteria. So if we can eat more fiber and phytonutrients, and these phytonutrients are what are in the Juice Plus capsules. When you juice these different foods and you only have a tiny bit of fiber left, what you're really doing, that's just a collection, that's concentrated phytonutrients. And that's what fights and neutralizes inflammation. And to break it down even more, it's what neutralizes free radical damage. Too much free radical damage is called oxidative stress. Another name for oxidative stress is chronic inflammation. So you see, this is full circle, and how simple all this is. All we have to do is feed the right bacteria. Feed the body what it needs to reduce inflammation. And so I know you wanted me to talk for 10 minutes. I think my time's up. Anyway, I'm here for questions if anybody has them. Pete, you did a great job, and you're all on the right track of more plants, more real food, more whole food every day. The consistency is what makes the magic.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Dr.
Doug.
Odom. That was awesome. Did anybody have a question for Dr. Odom? Anything you want to say? And if anybody has questions in the Facebook group, Pete, we can do another follow-up. We can do 3
Yeah, definitely.
calls. We can do Zooms like this to help your friends, because that's what this is all about. Definitely.
Yeah, just to let people know, Angel, that we'll be putting an article about what Dr. Odom said on the fibropartners.com website, keeping people up to date on that, and also the Fibro Partners group. So if anybody wants to join the group, you're very welcome.
That is so nice. And when I met Pete on Facebook, I don't remember exactly how I met you, but I just thought you were the kindest soul. So it really shows, your heart shows
Thank you.
others. And I'm so appreciative that I know you and can just be in this awesome, healthy community with you. So guys, remember, I always like to close out these calls giving you 3 choices, really. The first one is ask questions. We have free resources. We have recipes. We have workouts you can do at home if you need to start that. We have webinars. We have a library of webinars with wonderful doctors and health professionals on different topics, like reducing inflammation. We know that is key to helping people with fibromyalgia and really any chronic illness. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you want to add Juice Plus to your diet, Pete can help you with that. We're all here to help support you. And if you just want to ask more questions about it, we can send you that. But we have chewables for children also. We know our kids need this more than ever. And then number 3, if you want to become a partner and share this with your friends or family, Pete can help you with that also. We're here to support you. So thank you guys again for joining. And we'll have to do this again. We'll do another one. Does that sound good?
Yeah, definitely.
All
Yeah,
right.
fantastic.
All right.
Thanks,
you,
Angel.
guys. Thank you. And I'll share the recording with you as soon as I get it.
Lovely.
All
Thanks
right.
very
Thank
much, love.
you, guys.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
Angel.
Pete.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Angel.
Dr. Odom. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, Pete.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you,
to meet you too.
Dr. Odom.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Great.